to Grow with Google, Make Your Website Work for You, Part 1. My name is Tim Sharkey. I am your MC and your host today. I am here out of Chicostart. We are a small tech startup incubator in Chico, California, and we help small tech-based companies get up and running with a shared office space, and we work with the local colleges, Chamber of Commerce, which we have our partner today, one of our hosts. We have Heather Oogie with the Chico Chamber of Commerce. Thank you, Heather, for being here. Appreciate it. And we've been putting these on since last year, and we were working with the Chamber of Commerce to share one Grow with Google platform with Chamber of Commerce businesses and anyone else that wanted to tune in, but to help with the local businesses kind of get used to the different platforms and understand them and how to implement them. So once COVID hit, instead of once a month, we decided to do it every week. So hopefully people are gaining some insight and gaining some knowledge on how to use the Google platforms. And I encourage you to please go to grow.google and also the remote work site. So Grow with Google helps people grow their skills, their careers, and their businesses by offering their free digital training and their tools. So today we're going to learn how to create and search friendly websites that drive users, their actions, and support your goals. So whether you're launching a new website or sprucing up one that you already have going, this workshop will help you learn some skills that you need to tailor your website to the needs of your target audience. So keep an eye out for the second part of this class because we're going to be doing part 2. So we had some other people asking about the part 2, and it may show booked. I can go open up more seats if you want, but the link will be the same throughout any of our presentations. So any one of the workshops, you can bookmark it and come back every Wednesday. And don't forget to post and share on social media, hashtag Grow with Google. So let's get started. So the number of consumers shopping online has been increasing, and right now it's about 8.8% over the past few months, just because of the coronavirus. So it's important that we understand what shopping is before we can move forward with our website. So most of us equate shopping with buying something, and yes, buying is the ultimate goal for us, shopping, but consumers don't make just the purchase before they shop around to find the best product or service that meets their needs. So if you think people are coming to your website just to buy something, then you're approaching having a website all wrong. So think about your own shopping habits, because many of us are limited in where we can travel right now for purchasing our food, our necessity items. So it's no surprise the amount of consumers that are shopping online has increased. So many businesses have temporarily closed their doors or their storefronts and launched their businesses online. So have any of you increased your own shopping activity online the past few months? I know I have. Even just using to get food, I was not a huge fan of DoorDash or any of the other ones, but I have been using them. So I know this is causing me to spend more money online. So today, more than ever, small businesses are getting online and to connect with their consumers and help drive sales. After all, many of us are connecting with businesses from our own homes, as we've shown in the minute on the slide on the left. We have you waking up in the morning, checking what's going on, checking your Amazon orders. So it's important to update your website with any critical information, news, announcements affecting the operation of your business and your customers. So you can add other news and resources where appropriate. Go through your site to see what products and services and operations might be affected, and include the information and resources to help your customers through all these different changes that are happening right now. So provide any of the changes in your operations, like your hours, highlight your current contact info so people can reach you readily. If you are on your cell phone all the time instead of a business line, since you're not at your business, forward that line. Put your cell phone number up there instead, so you're not losing your customers. So whether it's just informational or inspirational, will be helpful and appreciated for all your different customers. So you may want to create even a video message or a series of messages addressing your customers and providing the critical information, because that is important. So new ways to connect. Even if your business has never had a website or even sold products online, there are ways you can connect with your customers online. Video appointments. Many service-based businesses are offering online appointments. So fitness professionals, lawyers, accountants, doctors, real estate agents. They offer appointment bookings on your websites. Grow My Business or Google My Business listings. You can put small different videos on there, and they also have a booking app right on Google My Business. So we'll show that later as well. And then use Google Meet to connect with those customers through video chat like we're using today. And you can learn more about Google Meet in the Work, Collaborate, and Learn from Anywhere class. And that resource will be listed in the slides later. You can also have an online store. Sell your products on your website. You normally sell to local events, or if you're a brick and mortar store, you know, you're the only one there. Start taking pictures and selling that stuff. Free or contact-free payments. So if you operate an essential business, offer online payments, keep your employees and customers safe. Just have them pay online, then come in, pick up. Don't have to touch money or cards. Web order and delivery for local restaurants and coffee shops. Allow customers to place their orders online for pickup and delivery. And fundraisers. I don't think many people are really working on this right now, but for businesses that can't operate at all, use your website to create fundraisers for your business or even your employees. I don't think it's the time to be shy right now, especially if you have a loyal customer base. Reach out to them, and maybe your fundraiser might even just be gift cards, gift certificates. So allow customers to purchase the gift certificates online for services they're going to use later. So if you have a salon, a restaurant, theater, especially a salon, so you can book some stuff. So something to think about. How do you plan to connect with your customers in new and different ways? So think about the unique opportunities you have right now to connect with all your customers in these different ways. If you can't currently connect with your customers in person, it's likely you can find a way to connect with them online. As we see the woman in the picture, she has a salon and she is booking future appointments for when she is open. So reaching out to your customers and seeing if they're okay. Send a message to them, send a text to them, and then book some future sales. Okay, what is web design? So when people think of web design, they have to think of the overall template, the look and feel, and that is the graphics, the layout, how they appear consistently throughout your entire website. That design is sometimes called the skin of the site. It's just one component of a web design. Excuse me. So within the graphics, it's a template. So there's lots of common elements that appear on most websites, including the header at the top or the top section of the website. The header usually includes a company logo in the left corner. Most website visitors expect that the logo will link to the homepage. So that's one thing to think about, because I have hit a lot of logos on different websites and it doesn't go anywhere, and you should go back to the home site to always take you back to the beginning. And the footer or the bottom of the website usually includes important links or your contact info, copyright info. Sometimes even list your business hours, address. So please make sure you put a footer down there with all your pertinent access information, and maybe even sometimes some information that isn't listed up above, like your terms and conditions and some other items are pretty important. The web design should lay out and set the website. The web design should lay out a set of guidelines that keep the web pages looking consistent. So like the colors, your font sizes, your font styles, and the type of the content that you're putting on there. So how you put the content, if you look at the slide, try to keep it consistent on how you put that content so your visitors have the same place to look all the time. So what most do have in common is the ability to change and customize their web design, and it's usually called a template. All have the same principles that they apply. So whether you're creating a design from scratch or using a pre-built template, navigating the site within that design should be effortless for your visitors. They shouldn't have to think about how to get back home if there's not a home button, and if the logo doesn't have the home link, it can be frustrating, especially if you have a lot of items in your website. So a great website is it's goal orientated. It's organized and easy to search. It's useful. It's functional. It's intuitive to use on any device. It's very important. And last but not least, it's findable by search engines. So these are the 6 basic items. Thank you for joining. So a great website is goal orientated. So many business owners know that building a website is important in the early steps, but a website can be a lot more useful than a business card or brochure. So with some advanced planning, you can create a site that helps your business grow just right out of the gate. But how do you want to grow? You need to start by defining your goals. So ask yourself, why do you want a website, and what do you want it to do? So think of your site as a tool that can help you achieve your business goals. The goals depend on your business, but some examples are, do you want to build a company brand? Do you want to generate leads? Do you want to just create more sales? Re-engage past customers? Attract employees? Provide customer support? And there's more items than that. So having an idea of what you want the website to do will help your goals. So what makes a SMART goal? And SMART is an acronym for the specific, measurable, attainable, relevant, and time sensitive. So let's say the goal of your website is to sell more jewelry online. So how can you give this goal more structure? Make it more actionable. And one trick is to incorporate the SMART framework. So is the goal specific and detailed? So how many pieces of jewelry do you want to sell? And how many pieces is more? What type of jewelry do you want to promote? Do you want to do necklaces, bracelets, watches, charms? So being specific with the actual goal will help you out. And how to measure it. Can you track and measure the goal? And how will you know when you accomplish it? And attainable. Is this goal really realistic? Is it attainable? So if I said I want to sell 1 million rings, maybe. But rather than pulling a number out of the air, consider your past sales activity. So if you previously only sold your jewelry at a physical location, a good goal would be to look at how many pieces you've sold in the past and in what kind of time frame. So you don't want to set goals that are impossible to reach, and you can always adjust the goals later. So is it relevant? Will this goal help you reach your business goals, and does it drive the business results that you wanted? And set a time frame. When do you want to achieve these goals? It might be you want to sell 100 necklaces online in the month of May or September, especially with Christmas coming up. Now is the time to start thinking about online shopping. So there's something to think about. What is the goal of your website? So for current website owners, think about your existing goals that you might have for your website right now. So I know that's something we're thinking about our memberships and different items. So, and those for you who haven't yet created your new website, what purpose do you think your website will serve? Because knowing what it's going to serve will definitely help you in what the goal is going to be. Is it going to serve you for just new customers like they're talking about? Just want more eyes? Do you want more followers? So who is your target audience? Try to understand your customers. So next, think about the target audience and who your website is for. This influences how you'll build your website to achieve these goals. And your audience impacts everything from the graphic design to the words on the web page. So your site should not try to be everything to everyone. So narrow in on your audience and not the world. Defining your target audience might sound simple, but it does take some effort. It's relatively easy to define an audience with demographic data like gender, age, employment status. But if you just stop there, it makes it more difficult for a business to stand out among competitors. And stereotypes about your audience could lead to false assumptions as well. So ask yourself, what makes your audience unique? And your goal is to develop a more complete picture of your target audience. For example, examine specific age ranges rather than one large range. Consider location, cities, suburbs, rural. Consider the education level, the type of employment, their hobbies, their interests, and their values. So considering their view of your product or service, is it necessity? Is it nice to have? Is it a special treat? Once you define your audiences, keep in mind when moving forward while you're building your site. So how will you measure this success? So now that you're thinking about your goals and your audience, let's add another consideration to the mix, tracking and measuring the success. So if you don't track or measure your website's performance, you won't have any way to make improvements. Improvements that are going to be based on data. You can always improve your website, but you don't know if the changes are making a difference. So here's another way to think about it. Let's just say you made some modifications to your bicycle to make it go faster. You don't know your maximum speed before the modifications. How do you know if it actually sped up your bike? So similarly, you need to track and measure online success so you know what kind of improvements to make. So you should always be testing. There are lots of ways to do this, and some with more accuracy than others. You can start by simply asking your customers how they found you. Ask them when they call you on the phone, when they visit your store, or when you're corresponding by email. Say, how'd you find me? You'd be surprised all the different avenues that people get to your business, either word of mouth, referral, websites, or people sharing posts about your company. So you can also get more precise by setting up a trackable phone number. If you use advertise with Google, you can set up free call tracking with records every time your ad results in a phone call. It's a good one. You can track the number of emails and form submissions from your website. And if you have an e-commerce website, you can track the sales. And if you can use web analytics software like Google Analytics to analyze your visitor behavior, you can see exactly how they engage with your website. So using Google Analytics. So ideally, your website leads the user from one page of useful content to the next until they finally convert. Convert means they are going through your call of action. It's either to submit a form or buy a product. So building personalization experience starts with a good data, and Google Analytics can help you better understand your audience and their insights and their activities, so you can make more strategic decisions for your business. So spend time with your user data and site analytics to find opportunities and customize the experience for your user. It'll help it drive your additional value for them. So learn which search terms and sources we're going to drive the most traffic. So to remedy a high bounce rate and a misalignment between your visitors and your website's content, you should examine in detail your visitors' interactions with your web pages, the nature of your traffic, and why those visitors are arriving at your website. We also want to see the demographic information for your most profitable customers. So look for useful ways to segment your users rather than designing one experience for everyone or the average user. Look for distinct groups that might have different wants, pain points, or behaviors. You might also begin to understand characteristics of your most profitable audiences. So I see a few different things we could do there. And understand what content your audience is most interested in. So evaluating your traffic can help you identify who is and isn't finding your page content to be useful, And it can also drive your decision making when it comes to the content you decide to highlight and not to highlight on your website. We can also evaluate which channels drive the most conversions. Understanding where your traffic is coming from, what drives our conversions on your website will help you make smarter advertising and content design decisions. And to get started with analytics, just go to Google/analytics, and you can get your tracking ID and embed it right now into your website. I mean, that's something you can do today and start collecting the information. So if you are not using analytics at all, I would really recommend it because you'll see exactly where they're coming from. So a great website is organized. So now that we've talked about the goals, the tips for choosing a design, let's talk about the information inside the website. And a great website is well organized. And even if you don't have a lot of web pages now, your site will or should, it's going to grow over time. The more you use it, the more you're going to be adding to it. So let's do it in organized fashion. So planning how existing and your future content will fit into the framework is going to help serve you better. So let's take a look at it. So let's start with a plan. You may have heard of the term information architecture, or IA. It sounds technical, but you don't need to be a website designer, a programmer, or architect to create one. Simply put, it's a plan to organize the information on your website. The IA map, it maps out the sections, your pages, and the functionality of your site. There are several pages and sections found on most websites, including your homepage, your About Us page, a contact page. And depending on your business, you'll probably include products and services as well. But how do you organize that information? The best way is by considering your business goals, talked about earlier. So earlier in the workshop, you started a list of your business goals. And now you can refer to that when you're planning out your website. So let's take a look at an example. This example business sells jewelry. In this example, which I don't see jewelry, I guess it is rings, watches, necklaces. And the products are organized by the jewelry type. But there are lots of ways to do this. So think about other ways you might want to organize this content. So tips for organizing your website. You want to be able to use short descriptive names and labels. And as you create your website plan, remember to keep the most important info in the main navigation. So it depends on your business and what the goals were. Your plan can help create and select the most appropriate website design templates, which it can. A lot of the different template-based items are based around the different industries, but with your goal, I think you'll be able to adjust those templates better for yourself. So to get started, let's define your target audience. You already did that earlier, but what do you want the people to take away from your website? Ask what they want to take away from the website. So make a list of keywords related to businesses. You can incorporate any into your navigation or your organization. So use a list to keep site content, colors, icons, images consistent with those goals. And how will these consistent messages, how will they help reach your business goals? So the image here is of Missouri Star Quilts, which I have actually been to on my own. So the example, you see a short, clear description in the main navigation. The business owners organize the site into categories that are relevant to understand by our target audience, such as yardage, pre-cut fabric. And you also see the information about online shopping in the top right. Navigation, where you may be accustomed to seeing the shopping cart. Additionally, she's incorporated promotions just right in front and center. You know exactly what kind of promotions and capture the attention. So a great website is useful. So we've talked about the goals and organization, and we're getting closer to building the site. So the next thing you need to consider is creating relevant content and experiences for your users. So a great website is useful. Try to understand your customers. The first thing that probably comes to mind is your text, like the words in the book. That's one type, but content doesn't stop there. If you sell beautiful cakes, you might want to add a photo gallery section of all your cakes. If you deliver soil to a residential customers, you may want to add a video to show people how to measure their flower beds to help them order the right amount. If you sell cameras, you might want to post the PDFs or the product manuals so your customers can download them. What kind of content would be useful for your target audience? What content would support your business goals? So whenever possible, create original, unique content that can set your business apart from the competition. I would say also look at your competition, see what they're doing, see what they're not doing, and see what you're comfortable with incorporating with your design and your goals. And then, but making your website more useful is more than adding the content to your website. It's about creating value for someone based on your shared history with them. So think about the keywords your audience might use to find your content. How would they craft their search? For example, they might type in struggle like pain in my feet, but actually they need a shoe repair to fix custom insoles. So that's actually pretty interesting. So pain in your feet, you wouldn't think would actually be shoe repair. So try to think outside the box of what your customers might be searching for as well. So content case study, Partake Foods. Take a look at a family-owned cookie company, Partake Foods, used content to engage their target audience. If you look at their website there, Partake Foods makes allergy-friendly, healthy snacks for everyone. It was born out of a family struggle to find allergy-free, delicious snacks for their young daughter. And so much of Partake Foods' website content offers inspiration for their target audience, who has a very specific desire or problem, the struggle to enjoy their favorite sweet treats, and some people joining. An audience is immediately drawn in with engaging imagery. And the content on the company's blog covers anything from tips to de-stress at home to making your own healthy pie crust with the Partake cookies. A compelling brand story builds a connection with a specific audience and the target audience, who may also be struggling to find their own favorite foods allergy-free. So creating the story, creating good pictures, creating a blog to talk about those items. It's a very specific industry, and that's what they're targeting, and helps build a compelling brand story. So the whole package together works. So a great website is also functional. Let's talk about this. So what does functionality mean? In this context, it refers to the parts of the website that allow visitors to take actions. So if you're making a list of all the functionalities you want on your site, it might include a site search, a contact form, an online shopping cart to check out, or a custom tool designed specifically for your customers. So say like the soil person, they had a video shows you how to calculate your how much soil you would need. You might want to put a soil calculator on there, which would be a pretty cool tool. So functionality can also help support your business goals. So let's take a look at these different scenarios. So challenge one, or scenario one, you run a shoe repair business and people either call or stop by to get quotes on the repairs. Number two, you started your own counseling practice, but you're the only person working there. You can't answer the phones when you're with a client. So what can you do there? And number three, you answer the same set of questions on the phone every day. How can your website help these people that are asking these questions every day? So functionality can help support your business goals. And the scenario number one, you run a shoe repair business, but people either call or stop by to get their quotes on their repairs. Maybe create an online form for your customers, submit their information and a picture of their needed repairs. So they can get a quote online without visiting your store or calling to give a description about the item that needs to be repaired. Maybe offer shipping to pick up the shoes and then have them sent back. Number two, you started your own counseling practice, but you're the only person there to answer the phones. So when you're with the client, what can you do? Create or license an existing appointment scheduling tool so customers can book online. Or go to Google My Business and create an appointment booking area. So when they come to your website, they can do it automatically. Number three, you answer the same set of questions every day on the phone. How can you do this? Create a simple web page, frequently asked question page to help customers find your answers to the most basic questions. You can also create some frequently asked question videos to walk people through. I know sometimes it's a little uncomfortable, but now in the time of Zoom, time of Meet, we are all online and we're getting more and more used to it. So the more you connect one-on-one, I think it would be very helpful to create unique content that way. So a great website is also intuitive. We hope they are, because I get very disappointed in ones that aren't. So we've covered some big picture topics, including the goals, the audience, and the measurement. So let's move to the actual website. So in this section, we'll focus on the design, but not simply how pretty it looks, although an appealing website is important. This section is going to be focused on how intuitive the design is. So in other words, does your site design naturally lead visitors through a process on the site to accomplish the goals you laid out? Or here's another way to think about it. Visitors should not have to think about or worse struggle to find what they're looking for to do what they want on your site. So design can have a big impact on whether your site helps you reach your goals. And let's take a look at a few of the things to consider when building a great experience for your website visitors. So nearly 9 out of 10 times when people had a helpful or relevant mobile brand experience, they said they would purchase from the brand in the future. I would say I'm part of that. So people expect brands to provide them with relevant experiences. And right now we're living in a time when mobile experiences matter more than brand loyalty. And providing irrelevant content to visitors can have a big impact on your bounce rate to the site. So for example, Dr. Squatch soaps, it's not featured here, but this is the example they're giving. Dr. Squatch soap, it's a men's natural soap company with online stores, and they have some pretty funny commercials on YouTube. And they offer an interactive lifestyle quiz on their website that helps its customers determine their product type and scent preferences. Actually, I'm going to copy and put this in the chat right now. In case somebody wants something to do. So it'll be interesting to see what they've created there to help guide their customers to find the proper product that fits their lifestyle. So a reminder about mobile. The image shows a woman tapping her smartphone. And did you know that more than 50% of all web traffic is now coming from smartphones and tablets? That's huge. But I have to say, everyone's got their phone on them and they're getting faster and smarter. And I know the first thing I do is pick up my phone and Google it. So with the advancements of our mobile devices, consumers have come to expect easy, frictionless experiences across every interaction they have with your business. So they might have a great desktop experience, but when they go to their phone to check up on it, they might get really frustrated. So making sure your website works on mobile phones is it shouldn't be an afterthought for you. It's a priority. So remember your mobile users at work. So remember your mobile users as you work through the goals, the audience, and the site design. But the good news is more and more websites are being built from the start with technology now that automatically optimizes the website format to best fit the devices it's being viewed on. So this is called a responsive web design. and it adjusts the site's appearance to best represent the information based on the size of the screen and the type of the device. So using a mobile-friendly design is an important first step. Here are additional tips to ensure your website visitors have a good experience. And I would say, they're not talking about it, but if you do use a template-based platform, Wix or Weebly or some of the other ones, take a look at their mobile. I would say take a look at their mobile preview. And when you're moving things around and entering pictures, make sure it doesn't shift that template, because I've seen a lot of people move the templates around and all of a sudden it ruins them. So make sure you review. Actually, I'm going to go back. So on this one, the navigation. You want to make sure it's easy to use on your site. You can do this by highlighting the elements that are selected. For example, when choosing options on an e-commerce store. Designing your site to allow plenty of space for users to tap so they don't end up being frustrated by making the wrong selections. Oh, I hate that. And ensure that the call to action can be tapped to make the process of converting as easy as possible. Like this particular one is Patricia Nash Designs, an example, because it's a clear, clickable, learn more right there on the search functionality in the upper right. So shopping. So next, let's make it easy for customers to shop and continue shopping and come back to an earlier page to ensure that if they come back to the site after a break, they can still easily accomplish what they wanted to do. Note this example, business added the helpful added to cart link to allow them to continue shopping, to not disrupt their scrolling through the pictures, scrolling through different colors. So if you have a t-shirt with 6 different colors, someone might want to buy all of them without having to go back. And the checkout. Also make it easy for visitors to check out and pay on mobile devices. So how many of you have visited a website and tried to check out only to have a difficulty entering your credit card numbers? Having a difficult checkout process can have a major impact on your conversion rate. And here are some things you can do to make it easier for your visitors to check out. Reduce the number of steps in your checkout process. That's huge. Show visitors progress as they move through the checkout process. This lets them know that they're just about done. Use guest checkouts so visitors don't have to sign up to purchase. Just make sure to offer them to sign up or to save their profiles for next time. But I do like that guest, you just go in, check out. And lastly, you can enable digital wallets such as Google Pay, Apple Pay, to make it really frictionless experience for your customers. So an example here in the picture, we have Janus motorcycles. If you haven't seen them, you should go take a look at them. They're pretty cool. They have a clear checkout process that shows their customers' progress and the next steps. And a great website is search friendly. After all, if you made the time and effort and the expense to plan and create this website, you want to make sure that potential customers can find you when they search online. The process of helping a website increase its visibility on search engines is called search engine optimization, SEO. You'll hear that term a lot. So SEO merits its own presentation, but this section will give you some tips on how to get off to a good start. So right here on our example, this is an experience we're all familiar with. You're sitting at the counter looking up something because you're talking about it right then. So 75% of smartphone owners turn to search first to address their immediate needs. And it's important to optimize your website's position in search results so you can better connect with the customer who needs you and your product or your services faster. And this is how the search results will look. We're all familiar with this. So when you type in your search query for something that you need or you want for a business, At the top, you type in a word or a phrase, and that's called a search query. And below the search query, you're going to see the results, and the page can include ads identified with the ad label. It's also going to provide the organic search results that the Google's algorithms identify as the most useful matches for the search. You can click on the organic searches for free. All the results are free. And so it's important to note that websites cannot pay Google to appear in the organic results. I say Google, my phone keeps going off. So that is good to know. So it's important to note that websites cannot pay Google to appear in the organic search results, and advertising does not influence a website's organic presence or position. So on the right side toolbar, you'll see a section that provides useful information, and this is called Google My Business. It's a free tool that helps you add your business into the info and the Google search maps, Google search and maps. If you don't have a Google My Business, you should definitely use that as a starting point for yourself, because I would say that's one of the biggest things I click on as well. So how Google works. So think of the web like an ever-growing library, and it's filled with billions and billions of books. A book represents a different website, but there's no card catalog to help you find anything, no central database. And on top of that, people aren't merely searching for websites. They want to find specific information inside your site and the individual pages and your resources. So how are people going to find this? So enter the search engines. So like Google helps find information on the web by sorting through all these billions of pages and sites and showing people where to find the answers they're looking for. And to do that, Google uses a software called a web crawler. It's also known as a spider, a robot, or bot. So Google's crawler is known as Googlebot. Googlebot starts with a list of URLs from previous crawls throughout the website, plus new sitemap data. And then it visits these websites looking for new links to add to the index, plus changes to websites and dead links. So the Googlebot goes from link to link, looking for new data about public data available about your web pages. And any information it discovers is sent back to Google's servers and is updated in the index, and ultimately helps searchers find the web pages. So one of my tips is that don't create images with all your information in them, with your address and your phone numbers. Don't create a photo flattened image. Actually write it in as text, so the Google bots will find the information. So if it just sees a picture, it's going to come back with a picture. Google organizes information. So the Googlebot processes each page of the index, and it's taking note of the important information from the keywords to the website's freshness, and it stores it in the index. So the index is like the index in the back of a book. So with an entry for every word seen on every index page, it's huge and it's always growing. And Google's index contains hundreds of billions of web pages. So every time a search person searches Google, the search is looking for information stored and organized in this gigantic index. So when someone does search it, and there are a lot of searches happening, more than 1 trillion each year worldwide, and it's hard to wrap your head around the numbers. So here's another way to imagine it. Finger snap, that was 1 second. So Google just processed about 40,000 searches in a second. So 40,000 searches just happened, and for each of the corresponding search results, how did Google decide which website and which resources to display? So the signals include basic criteria like the language, your location of the searcher, what type of device is being used. Other signals may include the age of the content on the web pages, its relevance to the search query, whether the page provide a good user experience, and a lot more. So after identifying the best of these sets and the results from information stored in its index, Google presents the results to the searcher, And all this happened in a fraction of a second. So what exactly is SEO? Be present in the searches. So search engine optimization refers to the techniques that improve your website's rank in the search results and attract a higher quantity and quality of website visits to grow your online presence. So why is the SEO so important? When it comes to managing your website, your product, your service, or your brand. So when consumers are searching, using the search engines, they're typically looking for a specific product, a service, a solution, and sometimes they want to be entertained, educated, or reassured. But regardless, they have a specific need or a want, and that your website may be able to fulfill it for them. But ranking and search results for particular keywords and topics and phrases can help you connect with your ideal customer. That's why they were saying make a goal, target. So the search engine optimization, we're going to do a few tips here to building your website that can help. So optimize your load time, especially for people viewing your site on a mobile device. It's very important. You can test your site right there at g.co, test my site. And it's free. It gives you a report on all the aspects of your website that could be slowing it down. And from there, you can make changes to speed up your website, which will help keep your visitors from navigating away or going back and hitting the next search result. So original content, useful, information rich. Was it clear and accurate? Include words users would type to find your pages, and make sure that your site actually includes those words. So you may put some SEO terms in the backend, but if you don't have those words actually embedded in your content, it could slow down your search and your rankings. And for links, especially in the navigation, use text when possible. If it's an image, make sure to include relevant alternate tags. So add internal links, which will link to your other areas of your website to keep your audience engaged in the additional content. So external links will offer value and increase reputability. It'll make you more relevant. So outside your website, so backlinks are links to your website from other website sources, and this showcases your website's relevance and your reliability. So that's what I was talking about earlier, is try not just to put just a photo with flattened information. Make sure it's written down, it's inside your website, as well as your SEO area. And the alternate tags. If you put a photo, make sure you put information on the backside of that photo. They're not really getting into that, but your alternate tags are very important. So put a description of what it is, your company, put a hashtag on it. I know when I do searches, I want to see items that I'm looking about. I want to see image number TS1005976. So try to add that information. So search engine optimization, a good page titles and descriptions. They ensure that title elements and alt attributes are descriptive, specific, and accurate. And remember information architecture. It not only helps your human visitors, it helps Google interpret the content, including what's important info and what is less important on your website. And last but not least, design your site for all browsers, specific types, sizes, including your desktops, tablets, smartphones. Google prioritizes website that work across all the devices and can reach your different customers. So how does it all work together? So you should think about your website not only as your total presence online, but one small piece of this whole puzzle right here. So if you have you do have so many different ways to connect here with your target audience online. And sometimes you meet your ideal customer in a completely different way. So as you're building your relationships with your customers, they use your website as another tool to connect with you. So in other instances, your audience may find your website first and then use that as the first step in getting to know you and your business better. But they almost also may find your YouTube videos and your how-tos, and they also may find your social presence and how you interact with your different customers. So it's just one way for them to find you and get to know you better. So you can use Google My Business to connect with the customers in your local area through Google Maps. Perhaps your media presence offers that first introduction to your brand, and customers might find you merely by searching for exactly what it is that you offer. Google Ads can help capture the customers also who may be ready to make immediate buying decisions. It's true. And resources. So we've covered a lot of information today. So let's look at some of the resources that help keep you learning. And that's pretty much it on the website materials. But each of these different items now, the Google Primer, business and marketing lessons. They're quick, easy lessons that you can do on your phone. You can learn whenever if you have a few minutes that are free, and they're practical and they're personalized next steps. So Google Primer suggested mini courses. I would take a look at those. They're pretty interesting, actually. The Skill Shop, training on Google's professional tools. I would say please go here if you want to learn more about each of the different platforms like it shows. You can develop the skills and you can apply right away with free e-learning courses that you can learn at your own pace, and you can also get certified at some of them. So Google Ads, the Google Marketing Platform, Analytics Academy, which I am going to be doing some Analytics Academy because I'm very interested in how that works. YouTube, the Google My Business. So please use these free learning courses to further your knowledge base. Grow My Store, personalized tips for improving your online store. So whether you're selling online or in store, this will help boost your business with a quick, easy evaluation of your website. And it's going to tell you what it recommends if you have your images are too large, you're not tagging your images, your fonts aren't all the same, your links aren't working. It's going to give you some pretty good feedback. Or some people charge you to do this. So I would really check it out. And quick help videos for small businesses. Go right here. It's no big whoop, but just go to quick help. They're awesome. And the free online tools at Google. So you have items for teachers, local businesses, job seekers, and developers. And thank you. I know we're running a little over time, but that was a lot of information. I will stop the presentation, but I'm going to get a link to the slides for you. I'm going to put them here in the chat. Anybody have any questions? That's a lot of stuff. Anyone in the middle of building their website? Copy. There we go. Aaron, you're welcome. Thank you, guys. It is a lot of information. I would say walk through each of them, but I think they're beginning. What they're talking about is have a goal in mind. What do you want your website to do? Really think about that and why you're doing things. Have some goals in mind, and use that SMART acronym. You know, go through and ask those questions of yourself and your products. It's going to help lay out the rest of your website, or help you reevaluate your website. Drive, link, shared. Grow with Google. Now my computer wants to freeze. grow. Share. Here we go with the link. So here's the link to the presentation. What I figured out how to do yesterday was actually print out the presentation with all the notes, but it's kind of awkward the way they do it. You go to slide, file. Print settings, preview. So you go to file, print settings, preview, and then you'll have this bar come up there, and then one slide without notes. You hit the drop down and you hit slide with notes, and they can download the PDF and look at them that way. That was the easiest way that I've found to take a look at the notes and the slide all at once. And then you can actually hit the links in the PDF as well. But other than that, anyone have any questions, comments? I want to say thank you for your time. Tune in next week for part 2. I'm excited for that one.
Thanks, Tim.
You're welcome. Everybody go out and have a great day. And if you have any questions, my email is in the workshop folders. It's on all the different ones. You can send me an email and I'll see if I can help you out or even give you some extra links or help. So have a great day. Have fun building your website. Go out and make some money. Talk to you later.
Bye.